I'm David Ainsworth, Head of Communications at the United Nations Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity. We're here at the Geneva meetings, and we're talking about the engagement with stakeholders. We're talking to Hugo Rivera Mendoza, who's the team leader of the Post-2020 Biodiversity Framework EU Support Project. Hugo, welcome.
Hello.
So, after 2 years of online negotiations, everyone on Zoom screens, how does it feel now to have the opportunity to negotiate in person with everyone?
Well, our project, David, is about dialogue. It's about creating a common vision for the implementation of the Global Biodiversity Framework. So for us, it is very important to be here. We think that at the end of the day, it's people who make decisions. It's people to act on the ground. It's people who create the right conditions for biodiversity and for nature and people. And that's why it's important to be here today.
So, in your opinion, this draft that they're discussing, is it transformative enough? What would need to change in that draft to make it transformative?
Well, I think there are lots of transformative elements within the framework already. If you think about the discussions we're having on financing, on how to make the funds available to make implementation a reality, or how we are talking about the engagement with stakeholders, with the whole of society movement, as they call it, there is a lot to build on, you know. But indeed, we could have a more clear vision of clear pathways forward, how we can achieve those goals.
So, everybody's talking now about the necessity to engage all actors. What's making this plan different is that, from previous ones, is that it's about everybody. So, in your opinion, given the way things are going, are we on track for that mobilization of all stakeholders?
Oh yes, I think we have a lot of movement around recognition of the important role of subnational governments, of indigenous peoples and local communities, of everyone who's involved in the implementation of the framework. This has a connection, for instance, to environmental harmful subsidies and not facing those, you know, and making sure that the framework has a coherence between all levels of government and the whole of society.
What should we do to take on this good basis you've talked about and make it higher, to increase the mobilization?
Well, I think we need to have very honest conversation about exactly that, you know, about which actors are going to have which contribution to a future framework, and what will be the timeline, where will the funds come from. And this is exactly what my project wants to do. We want to accompany the process until hopefully a very successful adoption of an ambitious framework, but then also supporting this conversation about implementation, about how to make these things a reality.
We're talking a lot about transformative change with this framework. Can you tell us, what do you think are some of the transformative actions that need to take place once the Global Biodiversity Framework is adopted?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's again to come to my first point about bringing people together and giving people the right tools, the right knowledge to do things. I think that there's a lot out there. There are lots of initiatives, actors, different institutions that already know a way forward. So that's what our project wants to do. It wants to be a bridge between all stakeholders and the parties in order to find ways forward for a very, very quick implementation of hopefully a framework that we decide upon very soon.
Thank you so much, Hugo, for coming and talk to us today. And thank you also for your engagement throughout the project and bringing this conversation forward. So good luck and good work for you in the days to come.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks. And thank you for joining us here. Our next Biodiversity Beat interview comes very, very soon. I'm David Ainsworth.